but they were as the head of KGB, and they don't want me to visit. And then they take me to the airport, and 4 KGB guys with me go to the airport. So here it is already possible to do things. And here I realized that I'm leaving, and my Traum, for which I was fighting so many years, not with me, so I was lying in snow and insisted that they'll give me Traum. Here I can say I have no doubt already what's happening, but I believe that if my Traum will not be with me, which every time sent me, all my strength will be lost. And then we are in the airplane.
So just pause for a moment there. So you lie down in the snow and told
In front of the, it's interesting that they didn't want any troubles anymore, but simply they took everything, and now that I realize that they took everything together with my son, so
and how did they react to this? You said, I mean, here you are about to be freed, and you say,
well, first of all, they still didn't say to me, but okay, there are limits to which I can deceive myself.
So how did they react when you said?
They were very crazy, okay, but then they didn't want to have problems in the last moment. So they sent somebody and they brought me. And then we are there, and I'm saying to them, what it is? And they don't say to me what's happening. Maybe they take me back to the Siberia, but then buying civil clothing. Now, by sun, I see that we go to the west. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Soviet Union is huge, but after 3 hours to the west from Moscow, it's already crossing the border. So I say, did you hijack me? Are you terrorists? What did you do? And then one of these KGB guys gets up and in solemn voice says that in accordance with the decision of Soviet government, you are unworthy of having Soviet citizenship, and you are deprived from Soviet citizenship, and you are exiled from Soviet Union. Then I cannot continue this year. So then I said, I want to make a statement. But no, we don't need your statement. No, I have to say that. In front of this KGB guys, but I am so used that it doesn't matter what they think. I'm talking directly to my people and to history. So I'm making a statement. Do whatever you want. And I say that, first of all, I'm very grateful that 13 years after I asked to deprive me of Soviet citizenship, I am deprived. Second, and that's interesting because it was important for me to say it. Second, I'm using this opportunity to say again that I never was a spy and never betrayed any law. I was only actively fighting for the rights of Jews and human rights. And third, and I hope that the day will come when all the people of the Soviet Union will enjoy the same freedom which I got just now. And here I said, it was really my feeling, then they landed in Berlin and all the rest of the history.
So for my end, what happened was, I was based in London as a foreign correspondent, and I think it was a Tuesday that you were released.
Yeah.
So the previous, Friday, Saturday, we were starting to get all these reports that this may happen.
I didn't get this.
No. And then I was sent to Berlin, and it was very strange because I have to say that even the government here didn't want to actually say what was going to happen. So they collected all the foreign correspondents and the local journalists as well, and they took us to the bridge, and they said, tomorrow something might happen here. So they just wanted us to see it. And so we went, and I think I've told you this story. I suddenly realized that it's very cold on a bridge in Berlin in February. And that night I had a translator with me. I went with my translator and we bought a pair of very warm boots for me to wear the next day. And until these boots finally gave out just a few years ago, I always call them my Sharansky boots. That's how I bought them. So then there you are. The classic tale is that they told you no detours, no funny business, no nothing, just follow what we're telling you. You're going to go from one car on the East Berlin side and then you're supposed to walk straight. Tell us about that.
So first of all, you have this book, and in the book, it is exact story. Somehow the tale changed it. What you're referring to is when this airplane that I was just speaking about landed. By the way, when I looked where it landed, it was DDR on the airplanes. DDR and the German Democratic Republic. And I was upset, because I already built the plane that now I see Habitat. I understood that in German Democratic Republic I will not see Habitat. But at this exciting moment, and they say, okay, we finished with you. You see there is a car, there was a car, it is behind the airport now, in Eastern Berlin. There was a car, there were some journalists, probably Eastern Berlin, definitely KGB, and there was a car. We don't go with you, because we finished, but you go straight to that car. Agreed. If he didn't say me agreed, I probably would do it. But because he said to me agreed, he said, all these years I never agreed with you. Why should I do it? If you want me to go straight, I said to him, I am warning you. I will not go straight, I'll go zigzag. So, so I told them, they had then, because they couldn't let me to go, so they had to go out and send two on two sides to make sure that I went out and they had no chance, there's no problem with them. So I went zigzag. On the bridge where you saw me, I hope you didn't notice it then. There was another story which could finish very embarrassing for me. As I said, they gave me all the clothes in the Forto prison, which was all very big. They brought them both without thinking what a giant I am, so everything was. And I said, oh, give me the belt. But yet it was still in prison. Prison, there are no belts. So they looked and they found some room. They put it home. So here, American ambassador is taking me, and some representative of the foreign minister of Germany and Western Germany. They are taking me, and they go, I have no reason to zigzag with them. And they say, you see, there are journalists, so, but you go straight to the car, and then we'll go to Frankfurt where your wife is waiting. And in fact, as they stand already on their way to tell me how great was the work of my wife, and my wife for a few days already knew from State Department that I'd gone to heaven, so she came and then we are going all over the bridge, and they say, where is the border? When we will leave? He said, you see this line? That is the border. I said, oh, I said, freedom. And they jumped. And then when they jumped, you can see it on the picture that I go like this.